morning, dear viewers. Welcome to this morning's edition of the newspapers on OSBC television. Babatunde Bonatito is my name. And I have about 12 national dailies for review this morning, and my guest is already seated in the studio. I'm talking about Barrister Kayode at DBC. Barrister, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. What are so?
Yes, we have 11 or 12 national dailies for review this morning, and they carry quite a number of interesting stories of national magnitude, which will interest you and make your day. There are cheering ones, there are the usual kidnapping and insecurity stories, there are sports stories, and many others for our review this morning. I am starting from the front page of the leadership newspaper. And from the front page of the leadership newspaper, we have this one. It is a cheering one. Electricity workers call off strike after shutting down national grid. For the first time in the history of this democracy, electricity workers are coming on industrial action. Even if it is for 2 hours, an industrial action is an industrial action. How will you react to this?
Well, it is not unexpected, going by the challenges that sector is facing, and the fact that we have been having cases of loss of national grid constantly. No one will believe that at this point in time, we will still be facing the double jeopardy of workers not being fairly treated, because they are the engine room of the economy. And we thank God that the strike did not last more than, so to say, 24 hours. Within that 24 hours, so many losses have been recorded, particularly in the industrial sector. So not to talk of the residential inconveniences that people will suffer at home. So, but it is not yet woo. It's not totally cheering until after 2 weeks, the committee set up, made their reports public, and I hope that the parties will be able to let the wisdom and sanity prevail.
Thank you very much. We go now. We are still on the front page of the leadership newspaper. No plot to remove Adamu as national chairman of APC. Let's see this one. This is another one coming from the APC this time around. No plan to remove Adamu as national chairman.
Well, whether there is any plan or no plan, he has the 4 years mandate according to the custom of the party, which has been registered with INEC. So if there is any move to remove him at all, let them follow the due process. It's not eat of the polity. The way they remove which is secondus should not be allowed to repeat itself in APC, which is known as a progressive party. So they should demonstrate their progressiveness by not engaging in a game of hide and seek or intrigues. So due process will be followed, and there should be reason for removing him.
Yes, still on the front page of leadership newspaper, $418 million Paris Club refund. Governors fire back at Malami, accuse him of pursuing self-interest. The issue of the Paris Club refund has been in the fore for a long time. And the governors are just talking for the first time, replying the outburst of the Attorney General of the Federation, who has been so much on the neck of the governors. I know his portfolio is not finance, so I don't know whether the office of the Attorney General is empowered by the Constitution to demand or refund of loan.
The parties to the Paris Club They are the federal government and the state government. And it was a loan secured when there was a problem of financial challenges facing the state government. And that was when the federal government came in through the Paris Club to secure the loan with conditionalities that within certain period of time there should be gradual repayment of the loan. And failure to repay on time will also cause further interest, compounded interest on the government of the day. But if actually the matter is already in court, there is no need for the Attorney General to be in hurry to pay, because it appears that the state governors were not totally carried along as to the details and the modalities for the payment. So they went to court. The matter is already subjudiced, and they are challenging that contract itself, that agreement. So that if the courts come out with decision that there was a kind of misrepresentation to them, they may even nullify it, and perhaps the federal government alone will bear the brunt to repay the loan. So it should not be in hurry to pay that huge amount of money, not to talk of this time when the person is facing paucity and scarcity of money to pay, to ASU, to pay electricity workers and some other sectors of the economy. Even they are proposing to reduce the number of workers to 50 years. That if you are above 50 years, you should go home. And the NSA have replied them that any governor who is above 50 years will also resign to let the youth come in. So what are we now saying? The Minister of Justice will wait for the decision of the court.
Yes, we go to the front page of the Nation newspaper. Above the masthead, we have this one. Bawa EFCC secured 4,430 convictions in 19 months. That is telling us that the EFCC is living up to the reason for its establishment. Mr. OSBC, how will you react to this?
The justice sector is more than mere convictions. I use mere because the essence of justice is to see the effect of it on the society. To let the people know the amount of money you have recovered, those ones you said you recovered 3 years ago. People are not being able to feel it. The common man, the average people in the society. That is the point. The people will be able to give kudos. That is only the reason people can comment the government of the day. But if you are just saying you are convicting, they are doing plea bargaining. They are only releasing maybe 10% of the looted money. 90% still goes to the thief. Then what kind of justice is that? And the one you convicted mean the highly placed, the former governors, you give them pardon. Not even conditional pardon, full pardon, both conviction and sentencing. What kind of message have you sent to the ordinary Nigerians and the average youth society? So far, we will commend the Bawa-led EFCC, but much need to be done in terms of policy decision as to what is the essence of getting justice. Is it for the giving or getting justice for conviction, for my own promotion, or the society itself should know actually that they are really fighting this the men of underworld.
Thank you very much. We go to it's a minor piece on the front page of the Nation newspaper, a bit above the masthead like this. Federal government, while we failed to meet 5,000 megawatt target, electricity workers suspend strike. I'm taking this because the federal government has come out with an explanation here, and it may be one of the reasons why the electricity workers are on strike. 5,000 megawatt is what they promised. I think that's what the federal government wanted to achieve.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it has not been met. And it may be one of the reasons why the electricity workers are on strike. Explaining why it was not made, what message is he sending to Nigeria?
Well, if the people are not interested in knowing why, they are after solution. Because you have been talking of loss of national grid, the gas, they said the gas that the sector is using is not being produced or supplied by the NNPC, because this is a chain of consequences. When you don't get one point clearly, you don't get your refinery clearly, it will metamorphose to the issue of NNPC importing and importing. And if they are importing, they are spending dollars for foreign exchange. By the time you are having foreign exchange, you are importing again. What you said you have as raw materials. At the end of the day, there will be increase in prices of goods and services. And if you cannot meet that, actually the other sectors will be affected by electricity. There are so many things they cannot afford in Nigeria until they get the external assistance. So if we improve our own local technology, we are able to actually produce at least 60% of what we need. Then it will improve, it will reflect in other sectors. So that's the main cause of all these other effects we are witnessing in electricity, in the NNPC, and some other sectors.
And we go to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune now. From the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, we have this one above the masthead. Troops dislodge more bandits camp. Rescue 6 hostages in Kaduna. Troops of the Nigerian Army were in action, but what we have here does not come out to say that the bandits have been arrested. They have only been dislodged. Dislodging the bandits.
They regroup in another area. So what we are saying is that I commend the gallantry of Nigerian Army. It's not easy, particularly in that cold weather, chilling weather, where they have to still obey the instruction, whether palatable or not. But the fact still remains that empower these local vigilantes, security outfits, the Amatekons, the Bubiagus, empower them, let them carry arms to complement this army, the security. That's the only way, and you recruit massively. Now they have concentrated their emails and their various activities to the northwest now. If you look at, if you want to observe quite carefully, they have left the northeast at least 95%. So they will regroup. When you dislodge them, they will regroup somewhere. Only yesterday, they only captured about 6 of them in Kaduna, in one forest, one local government. So if you recruit massively and you empower this Amatekun and some other regional outfits, then, and they complement one another, as they are raiding them from the air, the underground one will mop up. That's the only way. If the government is sincere, it's very easy to do. It's only the political way.
Still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, appeal court orders retrial of Kano singer sentenced to death for blasphemy. Somebody has been condemned and sentenced to death, and the appeal court is saying no, he has to be retried. I want you to see it from the legal point of view.
Yes. Before the Board of Appeal can order the trial, that means there is a breach of, there was a mistrial, and that means fair hearing was not observed, or improper procedures was adopted. Perhaps maybe you have to read the charge to him, person must be expunged, what they call taking the plea. Maybe if they skip that area, it's a fundamental error. So you order the trial, you order a new trial by another judge. Even if you have convicted, that conviction is cannot stay. So
the fact that appeal courts order a retrial has nullified
the entirety of the proceedings at the trial court. That is a fundamental error of not taking his plea or not giving the person the fair hearing. Maybe because of it was 500 Sharia law and it was expected to be respected by a lawyer. But because maybe he was not able to afford a lawyer, and it's the duty of the state to hire one for him, but maybe they did not follow that procedure. It's a fundamental mistrial.
From the Daily Trust, that's where we are now. 2023 e-transmission of election results has come to stay, INEC. We have some riders, 27 by election pending. What we learned from Kenyan presidential poll, debate, good for democracy. Now let's start. E-transmission of election results has come to stay. What has e-transmission of election, has it added value to our election? or to our electoral system.
Well, without prejudice to the merit of the petition just filed in Osun State, I had the privilege of reading the entirety of the petition and the material evidence proposed to be used. We have problem with the beefers because in most cases, the officers that are supposed to be diligent in recording the accredited voters, sometimes they miss two persons not being recorded and the person voted. And the laws I have here is very strict, Electoral Act, that where you have a case like that, the number in the beefers, they are less than the number of votes recorded. It's overvoting.
I can't understand you.
So the use of e-transmitter is good, but we need to have the accurately trained officers that will monitor and operate that electronic machines. So in the case of beefers now, we have cases whereby beefer will recorded 50 as accredited, and we have quota of 51. Just because of that one vote in that unit, it's overvoting by this new electronic something.
Okay.
So I say next year a lot of cases like that. If care is not taken, they have to be very diligent. It's better for you to accredit number as people as much as you can than to be in hurry that at least all these people must vote at all costs. If you don't record that person something, it's very dangerous.
The same electoral act says nobody should be disenfranchised.
That's the point. At the same time, the law says that all the accreditation will be verified.
It is only the court that can say which one is superior, disenfranchisement or what you call overvoting.
It is not the issue of disenfranchisement, it's the issue of you must be very extremely diligent with the use of beefers. If your name is not recorded there and you still voted, any other extra voting that is overvoting.
What we had about beavers is that you cannot register twice and be allowed to vote.
It's one of the reasons why that
you cannot vote by proxy.
Is one of the reasons why the device is employed by the law to avoid those cases.
Let's go to the front page of this day newspaper. From the front page of this day newspaper, we have this. This is another approach entirely to the blackout. In the bid to avoid promotion interview, electricity union throws Nigeria into total blackout. That is what we have here. In a bid to avoid promotion interview, electricity union throws Nigeria into total blackout. How will you react to this?
Well,
see the headline and make your comments.
Well, it is somehow suspicious the way they catch that heading, because the issue of promotion and the issue of going to electricity and strike, they are two different things. So their own objective was to show their Nigerians their grievances that we have not been fairly treated. Maybe we have received certain of a package of money you have not given us, or in terms of other welfare packages, condition of living. So, but now say because of that, they really went on strike to frustrate the interview, promotion interview. For how long will they do that? If somebody is entitled to promotion, you need to promote him. Maybe it's one of the grand grievances they are clamoring for. How can you?
And maybe their promotion has been held down
for too long.
And they deserve,
they
deserve to be given that promotion automatically.
And they are moving closer to the retirement age, and you are not promoting them on time. So that's why there is a kind of intrigue in that heading. So if that should be the case now, well, can they look at the other Nigerians, ministers of Nigeria, that will also suffer from that strike action?
Yes. From the same newspaper, this day newspaper, at 81st birthday, IBB says Nigeria's insecurity will be over soon. That is quoting the former military, the only military president we ever had in this country. Ibrahim Babangida making a prediction, a positive one for that matter, that the insecurity Nigeria is facing now will be over soon.
The word soon is ambiguous, as we say in law drafting, legal drafting. It is not fixed, it is not certain. When we are living in an environment in a state of uncertainty, it's more terrible than just living anyhow. So, to me, it's just a statement from the man, by God's grace. He's 81, 81st, though he's on a wheelchair, he cannot stand on his feet again, but you see how cause of thank God that at least he's still alive. So, but him, when he was there too, people will talk of him. What did he contribute to the national economy? The issue of SAF is still there. International loan, how he liberalized our economy, allowing the market forces, private individuals to come in. Though it's a good idea, but in terms of regulations and mechanisms to control this individual private investor, it was not there. So his line was more or less known for institutionalizing corruption in Nigeria. And this of $10.4 billion Gulf War oil windfall. You see, Okigo report. All those issues, those are the areas that are gray areas in the life of a retired general.
Daily Sun is our next point of call. Daily Sun newspaper. Insecurity. Lagos under partial lockdown. CP. Troops dislodge bandits camp. Rescue 6 hostages in Kaduna. Now, in Lagos, the Commissioner of Police says the state is under partial lockdown. Consequent upon suspected cases of
yes, particularly by the Okada riders in certain area of Lagos State. But now, since they started that policy, according to them, the level of insecurity criminality has reduced drastically in that area. So, hardly can we just go to that mark area which you see any Okada rider. No, that one has gone. But my fear is that that set of criminals, we have to bounce back in another area, just like they are relocating to another geographical area. So unless the government also make some certain policy interventions, social interventions to make life more easier for the people, because when you cross their, maybe they got the motorcycle by loan, they cannot pay loan, they cannot feed themselves. So what I will say, the approach is not that people-oriented, so to say. They should also look at the way they are going to create employment for this set of people. If possible, if they get their number, their contact, they can relocate to any other sector in Lagos State. So far they have their identity, so they have the location they are staying. Not the foreigner that just came into Lagos to perpetrate these crimes, because most of them, they are not Nigerians.
Yes, New Telegraph is the next newspaper to review. CBN reverts interest rate on intervention loans to 9%. Intervention loan, CBN has now reverted, has now, I think, cut down the interest rate to 9%.
Well, what has that achieved in the life of Nigerians? I was watching one yesterday from some part of the north in Sokoto. They said the progress in Nigeria, giving maybe 20,000 to this dress of the society. So what can 20,000 do in their life? Which business? They call it conditional transferable catches. Which condition can they attach to those people to pay back? So to me, all this, even the man ought to have resigned. They should inject new blood. He has been bereft of the new ideas. So we need fresh ideas. All these policies have not been working. People are still crying that things are very tight. And that's the reality. Even the elite, they can hardly make both ends meet nowadays.
Yes, before we go on the program, let's take this one from the Ghanaian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, we have nationwide blackout, 3 billion naira lost to TCN strike as grid crashes. 3 billion naira lost to TCN strike as grid crashes.
Well, just a projection. It might not be up to that.
But there will be a loss.
There will be a loss. That is more reason why, by even now, we should have our solar power energy. not only relying on the rivers or waters or turbines to produce electricity. The advanced countries have gone ahead. Let us use also the alternative to supplement the existing one, like solar. We have abundance of it in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Barrister Kayode at DBC. It is on this note that we shall be calling it today on today's edition of the newspapers on OSBC television. I have enjoyed the analysis and partnership of Barrister Kayode at DBC on the program this morning. Barrister, I thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
And on behalf of the executive producer of the program, Akinola Olabi, and the producer of the program, Oluwatoyi Yusuf, Babatunde Bolatocho is my name. I say good morning there and stay tuned to OSBC television. Good morning.